Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to another Moments with Z. I trust you guys are doing very well. For those of you guys that might be new on this channel, I focus on creating content that centers around the subject of being free as we navigate through life. If that's your cup of tea, subscribe, hit the bell so you can stay up to date with all of my uploads. And with that out of the way, let's talk about Finding Nemo. So I recently rewatched Finding Nemo for the first time since, I want to say, 11. And there were so many messages and themes that I completely missed and couldn't appreciate as a kid, right? In a lot of spiritual teachings, there's this emphasis on being in the present moment and trusting the process, how the past can only exist in your mind as memory, and the future can only exist in the mind as imagination. So in the present moment, the past and the future don't actually have any real substance. It's not real. So this movie's message on letting go of the past, fear of the unknown, trusting the process, and self-empowerment really resonated with me. Like, it really spoke to my soul. So I felt inspired to create a video to highlight this message. So here it is. Finding Nemo. As a kid, I saw Finding Nemo as a simple story of a father going on a wild adventure to save his son. You got sharks and anglerfish, you sprinkle some jellyfishes in that bitch, a bunch of hippie turtles, a whale, and it's a really fun time. I'm assuming you know the story, so here's a super short refresher on the premise. The story starts with Marlin, his wife Coral, and their big family of clownfishes. But big family plus hungry barracuda equals small family. Quick maths. After Marlin lost his family in the tragedy, he only had Nemo left. On Nemo's first day of school, they become separated, and so Marlin spends the rest of the movie finding Nemo. Now as an adult, I can now appreciate the aspect of the story where it beautifully illustrates how a lack of trust can trap us in fear, worry, and anxiety. After the traumatic experience, Marlin didn't just lose most of his family, he also lost trust in his experience of life, and trust is a big theme in this movie. The pain of the past is so strong and so traumatic that it colors his perception of the future. He starts to bias his imagination towards dangerous outcomes and tries to prevent anything from happening to Nemo. Marlin literally wakes up worrying about Nemo, double checks his surroundings before leaving his own home. Even swimming Nemo to school, you can see all the worry and anxiety on his face as he actively prevents Nemo from bumping into anything. He can't even tell a joke without overthinking it. In short, Marlin's clinging on to the past and can't let go. After being separated from Nemo, Marlin meets Dory, a fish with short-term memory loss. Unlike Marlin, who now sees the world as a dangerous place because he couldn't let go of his past, Dory, on the other hand, is free from the pains of any past trauma because she simply can't hold on to any memories. So it's impossible for Dory to imagine a fearful outcome based on past experiences. Dory is joyfully in the present moment and simply goes with the flow. As they journey together, they have completely different reactions to the exact same circumstances. For example, meeting a shark.
Hello?
Well, hi!
Torpedoing into the shark's mouth.
You want that mask? Okay.
No!
Seeing a sketchy-ass trench.
Okay, let's go.
No, bad trench. Come on, we're gonna swim over this thing.
Being surrounded by jellyfishes.
Boing,
Dory!
Boing, boing. You can't
Dory!
catch me.
Being stuck in a whale's mouth.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo!
Marlin lives in the past and fears the future. Dory lives in the present and chooses to trust. So the question is, in the face of an unpredictable universe, in the face of the unknown, can Marlin learn to trust that everything is going to be okay? Going back to the sketchy trench situation, Marlin's lack of trust actually got them into a worse situation.
Looking at this thing, it's got death written all over it.
I'm sorry, but I really think we should swim through.
And I'm really done talking about this. Over we go.
Come on, trust me on this.
Trust you.
Yes, trust. It's what friends do.
Look, something shiny.
Where?
Oh, it just swam over the trench. Come on, we'll follow it.
Okay. Ah!
Eventually, we get to this scene where the difference in Marlin and Dory's outlook is completely spelled out for the viewers.
Look, already it's half empty.
I'd say it's half full.
Stop that! It's half empty!
The scene then develops into this pivotal moment for Marlin's journey as he's presented with an opportunity to grow.
Okay.
Dory! me! You!
He says it's time to let go! Everything's gonna be alright!
How do you know? How do you know something bad isn't gonna happen?
I don't!
We're alive!
In the face of the unknown, Marlin finally trusts and is rewarded for it.
Sydney! Sydney! Sydney again!
You were right, Dory! We made it!
After Marlin learns to trust again, he eventually finds Nemo, and they do one of those classic running at each other from a distance then hugging type scenes. Heartwarming and adorable. I love it. But the celebration doesn't last long since Dory gets caught by a fishing boat, which turns out to be a perfect opportunity for Marlin to practice that newfound trust by trusting in Nemo's ability to save Dory.
I know what to do!
Nemo! No!
We have to tell all the fish to swim down together!
Get out of there
I know
now!
this will work!
No, I am not gonna lose you again!
Dad, there's no time! It's the only way we can save Dory! I can do this!
You're right. I know you can.
Alright, I'm gonna be honest here. When I first saw that scene, it got me really good because it's something I've always wanted from my own dad, like for him to trust in my abilities despite the uncertainty of the future. I never really got that from him. I'm just playing. I'm actually over it now because I realized that I don't need anyone's permission in order to succeed the way I want to succeed. I'm done trying to convince him with words. I'm simply gonna show him. So yeah, I'm completely cool about it now. It's like, no, I can't help it. Anyways, I'm getting way too sidetracked, and let me bring it back to Finding Nemo. Marlin, Dory, Finding Nemo. Let's get back into it. So Nemo goes off to tell all the fishes to swim down. This scene turns out to be a great metaphor for humans. Notice how when they're divided, confused, and afraid, they face certain doom. But you replace that division and fear with unity and determination, then freedom becomes inevitable. I want this to be a gentle reminder that we are all part of the one human family and that we have so much more in common than some sources might have us believe. Now, once Marlin and Nemo have settled back home, there's a new vigor in the way Marlin chooses to live his life. He races Nemo to school without feeling the need to protect him. He successfully tells a joke without overthinking it. And lastly, he gracefully lets Nemo go to explore the unknown. God, I love this movie. And this isn't even touching on the self-empowerment journey that Nemo goes through. Like the way these writers weave together so many different themes and messages in a story so full of heart, so full of laughs and full of thrills is absolutely incredible. To me, the best stories are the ones with a message that is applicable to our own lives, and this movie's message on trust is timeless. Now, I want to bring our awareness back to our own lives. So many of us have been taught to seek security, to seek the familiar, to seek predictability. The future can appear scary because it is completely unpredictable, but if you can trust that everything happens for your highest growth, then you'll accept this life experience for all its unpredictability and allow all these events to flow through you naturally without feeling this need to cling on to anything. In this state, you'll feel so free. You'll be free from fear, you'll be free from worry, you'll be free from anxiety. We're all going to be okay in the end. So the fact that we don't know what's going to happen is actually a gift. It's just that we've wrapped this gift in really ugly papers called fear. So throw out those papers and allow yourself to be surprised by this human experience. Go on that trip you've always been thinking about, or pursue that passion that makes you feel alive when you do it. Or start small and say what you feel, like what you truly feel in a social situation. Like life is way too short to spend most of our time in our minds, dwelling about the past, worrying about the future. Even in social situations like, ooh, if I say this, are people gonna think I'm weird? Like, to put it bluntly, who gives a right? It doesn't matter. You just want to have the best time you could possibly have. It doesn't matter what other people think. It really doesn't. Caring about what other people think traps you in your own mind so much. And if you're trapped in your mind, you're living in the mental realm and you're not living in this physical realm in the present moment, right? So just let go of all that. You'll be all right. Have some fun. Trust that everything will be fine, and allow yourself the possibility of soaring, of flying, of truly living and not just surviving. And with that, I wish you all a joyful life, full of adventure, full of love, full of surprises. I love each and every one of you, and until next time, peace. It's like, nah, I can't help it. And I know exactly the song that I'm going to use for this little bit is where it's all like, man, fucking love this song. I hope I don't get copyright strike for this because it's such a dope song. The way he goes, like, I feel that shit every single time. Anyways, I'm getting way too sidetracked, and let me bring it back to Finding Nemo.